In fact, this truck has a C8 front end. My father and I are in the market for a new truck. We need a new daily driver for my two sons and a reliable tow truck to get Orange Car and a few other future cars to the racetrack. Will Chevy have what it takes to impress me, a loyal Ford F-150 driver? Now it's Chevy's turn to show me what it's made of. We just finished test driving or doing a quick drive on the Ram 1500 with the Hemi 5.7 liter V8. Now it's to find out.
Chevrolet Silverado 1500 with a 5.3 liter V8 with dynamic fuel management and stop start. This cast aluminum block, cast aluminum cylinder head, overhead valve engine has 2 valves per cylinder with variable valve timing. With direct high pressure fuel injection and dynamic fuel management, this engine puts out 355 horsepower at 5,600 RPMs and 383 pound-feet of torque at 4,100 RPMs.
The following is a public access.
As long as I'm cool, I don't care.
Yeah, no, we're good. Okay, you got to sit back further, Dad. Your arm is in the shot.
You're kidding.
No.
I can't sit back any further.
Oh, Dad, you're sucking on the no. Swallow it now. No more, please.
I can't swallow it.
Okay, no, please just chew it and no more until I'm done, please.
Okay. You know the back seat here is smaller than the
Yes,
Ram?
because this isn't a full 4-door. This is an extended cab. Finish it, please. I have to start right away. Finish it. Spit it, then spit it out, Dad. Come on. This isn't
Just
funny.
right. Boom.
No, Dad. I can. The microphone's pick it up, please. And I'm recording. Please just spit it out. You know I'm going to put this in the video, right? In the Chevy 1500 extended cab. Now this is the LT trim, and fortunate enough to grab the 5.3 liter V8, which has 355 horsepower and 383 foot-pounds of torque. Now just driving right here, getting a sense of the street driving dynamics, it already feels a little bit tighter all the way around than the Dodge Ram. Now yes, these are rental vehicles, so you never know exactly how much abuse they've been through, but immediately I have a little bit more feeling and a little bit more control in the steering. I also have a little bit firmer ride. It feels like the suspension's a little bit tighter. Now right there, we just went over a speed bump and we already hit the bump stops. Again, this is not 4-wheel drive, and we don't have the clearance that a 4-wheel drive vehicle would have. Now the Ram 1500 we just drove was a 4x4, so it had stiffer suspension and it had different driving dynamics. This being a 2-wheel drive, I have to try and do my best to compare the two. Let's give it a little bit of mild acceleration. Okay. This feels closer to my 2002 Ford F-150 Super Crew with the 4.6 liter Triton V8 than the Ram 1500 I just drove with the 5.7 liter Hemi V8. The Ram 1500, the torque hit immediately and harder and more aggressively. Now I wasn't quite in the throttle on this, but I can already tell that this doesn't quite have the low end grunt that the Ram 1500 had. Now yes, the Ram 1500 had over 400 foot-pounds of torque, so it's hard to compare, but the trucks I'm driving, this so far feels closer to my older 2002 F-150 than the Ram 1500 I just drove. Let's give it some full throttle here. Okay, compared to the Ram 1500, this is definitely a little bit more sluggish, and you can tell that the Ram just has more power and low-end torque. Now, compared to my 2002 Ford F-150, this is slightly more powerful. Obviously, there's larger displacement, more low-end torque. This is a cam-in block compared to the single overhead cam setup in the 4.6 liter Triton. So this is designed for more immediate low-end torque. However, it's not that much more impressive, and this is a 2020. This is a 2020 Chevy Silverado. And so far it's not convincing me in terms of the power availability with the 5.3 liter V8 that I need to make the switch right away. Now, I'm not saying that Chevy Silverado's off the list, but it's just my immediate impressions. Okay, going up this hill here, I mean, I do have good power. There's no problem, except for that idiot that almost hit us. Now, in terms of body roll and characteristics, I can tell you that this is handling better than my 2002 Ford F-150 Super Crew and the Ram 1500 that we just drove. There's just less body roll. I feel like I just have a little bit more control. Okay, we're gonna get on the freeway now and find out what this thing can do in terms of on-ramp acceleration. We'll give it about 3/4 pull because we are in traffic. Well, that's about as much as I can do here, but you know what? It has enough power. I feel like for me and my taste and what my father would like, it has kind of the bare minimum. I wouldn't want to go any lower than this. Now, if we're talking about towing, actually, you know what? Hold that thought. See if we can merge okay. Yeah, I mean, the truck merges fine. There's no problem. There's nothing there to highlight its power or its torque delivery. I can see us towing Orange Car, or one of our vehicles, to the track. I can see this truck doing the job without a problem, without question. But if I'm gonna make the jump and replace this vehicle and have it for somewhat of a long time, somewhat long term, as I would say, I would like something with a little bit more power, something that will satisfy the need as we're driving to the track and back from the track, climbing grades, going down grades. I would like something with a little bit more power, a little bit more command. Just, I'm not feeling it with this truck so far. Now, in terms of freeway driving dynamics, this truck is actually very comfortable. I have no issues or no gripes so far. Now, yes, we've been on the freeway for about 120 seconds, so there's really nothing I can say so far, but I can kind of get the idea of how this truck would ride maybe to Las Vegas from my location. I've been a truck owner my whole life, so I get it. I can kind of understand I can understand the dampening on the suspension. I can understand how the dynamics would go through Pear Blossom Highway and up 14 freeway. I understand how this truck would drive just getting it on the freeway so far. I am very surprised and very satisfied with the driving dynamics of this truck. It is bone stock, two-wheel drive, and I do have good control even at freeway speeds. I actually like the way this drives better than my 2002 Ford F-150 Super Crew, and definitely better than the Ram 1500 on the freeway. We have a short passing lane here, but might as well test the acceleration one more time. You know what, it feels very much like my 2002 Ford F-150, even though the engine designs are different. In terms of power availability, especially in this very dry desert heat, it's okay. It's just okay. It gets the job done. It could tow a truck. It could tow one of our race cars, no problem, but really, I feel like at some points, it might even stress the engine and drivetrain out. Let's fall back a little bit, and here's where we punch it. Let's go. Okay, it's holding its own, holding its own. Okay, we were gonna get up that hill just fine. I'm gonna hit a red car here in a second. We were gonna get up that hill just fine. I can tell you though, just from that hit, it wasn't gonna be as strong and as confident as the Ram 1500. There's just no way. There's that difference between the high 300s torque and the low to mid 400s torque. The Ram 1500, the Hemi 5.7 has it beat. Larger displacement. It's an engine built more for that low end torque, and it just hits right away and immediately. Now, this engine is incredibly capable and it is very competent. But again, if I'm driving the Ram 1500 with that 5.7 liter Hemi, I just know I may have a better chance of not feeling like there's a car and a trailer behind me. With this truck, I'm gonna feel it. I would be curious to drive this model in a 4x4 platform, just to really compare apples to apples, and probably the same model year as well. Let's get to our final impressions, but I will just say this. Driving this on the freeway for about 20 minutes, I already like the driving dynamics in terms of the steering, handling, and braking better than the Ram 1500 and my 2002 Ford F-150 Super Crew.
Access program and does not necessarily represent the
Before I address my final thoughts on the Chevrolet Silverado 1500, it's important to note that this particular vehicle is a rental vehicle with over 52,000 miles. Well, 52,000 highly abused miles. With that being stated, my father and I shared the exact same driving experience with the Chevrolet Silverado 1500. We also shared the same impressions about the vehicle's exterior, interior, street driving dynamics and acceleration, and highway driving dynamics and acceleration. We had fair to average first impressions with every category with this vehicle. However, we no longer have those impressions. In fact, our collective opinion about this vehicle now sits somewhere in the poor category. Please allow me to explain. At first, the exterior seemed okay. In fact, it kind of had a fresh, jagged edge expression to it. I don't even know what that means, but I can tell you we lost attraction for this vehicle as the hours passed. Some of the edges and design kind of stood out to us. They kind of seemed like an eyesore, if you will, especially in the front end. I just don't know if I can live with this front end or the headlights. We felt the same way about the interior. When we first got in the vehicle, we thought, okay, this isn't so bad. It has some nice ergonomics. The seats are comfortable. We could live with this. However, the more time we spent on the highway, we realized the interior was obnoxiously designed with some strange lines and edges that really distract you when you're driving the vehicle. Maybe it's just me, but some of the interior design sort of made me nauseous after a period of time. I don't know, maybe it was the lunch. I just found myself becoming irritated with the interior at some point, just looking at it. And if that weren't enough, to top it all off, the engine really disappointed us. Again, at first, the throttle response was immediate, and we thought, okay, this may have some potential. But after one or two full throttle pulls and accelerating up a freeway on-ramp, we realized this 5.3 liter V8 just wouldn't have what it takes to satisfy both my father and I pulling a race car behind us to the racetrack. It really felt as dead as my 4.6 liter Triton V8 in my 2002 Ford F-150 Super Crew. I don't mean to throw shots at Chevrolet or GM, because the big three have all produced their duds. And my family and I have owned GM and Chevrolet cars over the years, so I can be direct about this Chevrolet Silverado 1500 quick drive review. Although I felt the Silverado 1500 handled better than the Ram 1500 and my 2002 Ford F-150, the street and highway driving dynamics of the Silverado 1500 just won't put it on the list. It's not going to make the cut. And I'm sorry, but I've got to draw the line somewhere. I need more power, a less obnoxious interior, an exterior with a front end that doesn't look like it already got into a front end collision, and without question, a full 4 doors or full-size Super Crew truck for enough room for my father and 2 sons so we can hit the racetrack with enough room on the inside. Thank you for joining me on this 2020 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 Quick Drive Review. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because if you